Okay, so this is episode 34. We're going to try this again. The first time, for whatever reason, it did not have audio, and I'm not sure why. But this is episode 34. We're going to look at currying today. We've seen this a few different times if you've watched many of these videos, but I want to be explicit about it and actually show just kind of an intro to currying. What does it buy us? What's it good for? So to get some of these things, we've brought in curry and we brought in map, and both of those are from Ramda. And let's look at a simple function. This function is called add, and you'll see that I write that as given a number, number goes to number goes to number. And since JavaScript, in this case, the language that we're using, does not auto-curry arguments to functions, which obviously, if you don't know what currying is, you don't know what that means, but what that means is that there is an implicit kind of like a parentheses around these. So what you really have to do is you have to provide both of these numbers at the same time to be able to return this add function. What curried does is if we were to curry this add function, so this add function we're passing to this curry function, what it does is it makes it to where curried now does the exact same thing as the add function does up here. Given two values, it'll return the summation of those two values. But what it does, if you notice the difference in the type signature, is given a number, this curried function now, if we give it a number, will return a function that you can give a number and it will return a number, which is different than obviously what we had here, which was if you give it two numbers, it can return you a number. Now, when we pass two numbers to this curried function, everything works just as we would expect. So if we were to remove this and to where we now have add 2, what we've been able to do now is we've just been able to pass a one value to this curried function. And so now what we have is a function that when given another value will return a value. So you see this signature here is exactly what we had here. And this add 2, we've only just supplied this very, very first argument to it. And then there's some syntactic sugar. We could still call this with two arguments and it would be fine. But really under the scenes, what it's doing is it's doing this curried thing. So it makes sure that every function takes one thing and returns one other thing. So if we call add 2 here, then our result that we get is, of course, 3. So we've got an add 2 function that basically takes a number and returns a number. And we've kind of pre-baked in the first argument to our add function here with this curried 2. Obviously that's really, really trivial kind of thing, but what else could we do? Well, we could create a functor add 1 function, and we can map, and we could do x plus 1. Map comes from Ramda, and basically it is a curried function, which takes some function, and then it takes some functor. And so what we could do is with this map and passing the function, you see that functor add 1 now says, given a functor of some sort of number, we can return a functor of some sort of number. So we've already pre-applied the function to map, because map takes a function from A to B, and then some sort of a functor, and then a functor of A. So what we could do is we can provide it a function from A to B, and now we could then, after we've done that, then we can give it this functor of A, where a functor is an array and A is a number in this case. And so that can work. So the big thing to think about really with currying is that it takes one thing and returns one other thing. So once things are curried, this function no longer takes two arguments. It takes an argument, and once you've given it that argument, it will return you a function that, given a number, will return another number. And that's why, and so it ends up looking like this one right here. And that's why you'll see these arrows. Now in this case, because of the way that these arrows are associate, putting the parens here really doesn't change the semantic meaning of it, but it's just an idea to kind of show you that, hey, if we give it a number, we're going to return a function that, given a number, will return a number. So that's what currying is, and hopefully the sound works and everything's good there. In the next couple episodes, we're going to build up and use some currying to deal with some function composition and things. So stay tuned for that, and I hope you enjoy. Thanks.